Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
This is your captain, John Regan, sitting in for Vincent today. You are dialed in correctly to USAPrepares.com. Well, Vincent is on the road today. He's going to be a keynote speaker at the RK Prepper Show. That's in Fletcher, North Carolina this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And he'll be talking about how to save money on your taxes by starting the business of your choice and be able to take the same tax deductions that the rich take. Also, fellow instructor John Moore will be there talking on violent climate change and how to prepare for it. We also have a meetup Monday where Vincent is talking about building your solar power system part 2, and information on both of those events are on page 1 of USAPrepares.com. Well, today I'm really thrilled to have Bill the Junkman Whaley with us. I first met him at Expo in Springfield, and I don't know any other USA Prepares instructor that can give you as many ideas per minute as Bill Whaley. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Sir John. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm thrilled because I'm on the radio every week talking about things like the economy and spy tech and just the whole bigger picture of what's going on. And so often I just run out of time talking about that. And I really like being able to talk with you today because we really need solutions for what's coming. And most people can't really afford to do a whole lot. And that's where your niche is just great. You want to tell us about how you got into this?
Well, John, as we all know, the economy keeps going up and up and up. Paycheck keeps going down and down. The system wants more and more and more. And they want to penalize us for that because we don't have it. But we don't realize that everything we buy, we use it for a few months and we throw it away and then go buy it again. And it's called junk. There's no really rules for junk and trash, except you can't litter with it and you can't just throw it about. So, with that being said, everything that we buy, we can use again and again and again and again, because you've already paid for it. You don't have to pay again for it because it's getting to the point we're not going to be able to afford these conveniences and luxuries. And I got into it because I've seen most of the people struggling, and they're struggling hard, especially the elderly people that are on fixed incomes. The system gives you a choice, either eat or pay the utility bill or we shut your electric off. That's wrong. I know this isn't part of my seminar, but the good Lord didn't mean for us to live like this. And that's what got me into helping people with what they already have. And that's my reward, that God gave me that knowledge to say, you can help these people, because the system don't care if they help you or not. That's what possessed me to get into this.
Yeah, and I was inside the system as an Air Force officer, and I remember the days back in the 60s when they at least had fallout shelters with the Soviet threat. And as inadequate as those were, it was at least something. by the time I was an Air Force officer on active duty, the general public didn't have anything. The people in power were building all these fantastic, expensive bunkers for themselves. And they didn't even tell people, hey, you really should be ready for what's coming, because if it happens and you're not ready, life's not going to be too good for you.
That's true. The working class people, once we eliminate them, who's going to pay the bill then? And who's going to do the work? The system hasn't stopped long enough to think about that. They keep saying, go green, reduce your carbon footprint on the earth here. But I've known several cases, they want to penalize you for doing this. There's a lady down in Florida, as we have talked before, she's off the grid, but the city she lives in is wanting to take her home because she's not hooked to the electric grid. But yet they're saying, go green. Something's wrong with this picture.
And we've got cities, I think Tulsa's one of them, that if you grow a garden, they're after you. It's insane. You know, we need more gardens. We need more backyard chickens. And if we could even get, I'd say 10 to 20% of the households doing that, we could avoid the starvation that will come if we don't have them.
That's true. The system can't take care of us, but yet they don't want us to take care of ourselves. They're trying to take what our forefathers and ancestors knew how to do, and that's live off the land and take care of themselves. And they're trying to punish us by control us, by telling us we can't feed ourselves, but yet they won't help us feed our families. So we have to do something regardless of what goes on, because we can't afford it.
Yeah, and sadly, people don't understand the dependency problem. Currently, we've got half of America receiving some kind of financial assistance from the federal government. I'm not one of them, even though I'm retired from the Air Force Reserves. It's the inactive reserves. So my benefit is you get to call me Captain. And that doesn't go too far in paying the bills. And it's even the same in the animal world. I remember when Katrina came through, there were some dolphins that were washed out into the Gulf. And there was this big hunt on for them because if they didn't find them within a few days, they'd starve to death because they no longer knew how to fend for themselves. And it's the same for humans. You know, you're used to this supply chain, which means you don't know how to fend for yourselves. And then you got that other level of now you're dependent on the government to give you the means to use the supply chain. And that's, I think, the reason why we're all here on USA Prepares is to try and counter that problem.
That's true. The problem is that once you fall through the crack, the system don't care. I mean, the people are trying just everything they can to survive. Like I said, the elderly are got to make a decision: do I eat or do I go buy my medicines and that? And but that's another subject, the medicine part. But the thing is, when I was going to college, I spent 4 years living in the back of my pickup truck with a camper shell next to the river because I couldn't afford an apartment. I'd get up every morning, jump into the river, get my bath, get out, and go to school. And I lived that way for 4 years. And then, of course, in the college found out about it, and they done a paper on me because I was living out of the river. I had turtles, I had fish, I had rabbit, I had deer, I had wild food and that. And I was surviving out of the woods for 4 years while going to school because I couldn't afford to go get me an apartment. Of course, I could have borrowed money, but then that would have put me in debt. And this is all I've ever known from the time I was a kid living on the farm, how to survive with what we have.
And before the 20th century, that's how most of America really lived. Your neighbors were your insurance policy. You know, if you had a barn burned down, it was your neighbors that came through and helped you build a new one. It wasn't you know, make your bets with the insurance company that, and the bet you're actually making is, hey, I'm betting my barn is going to burn down. And you pay them what we call a premium for that. And, you know, you hope you don't have to collect. You know, it's a great racket.
Yeah, look at the money they make on on policies they don't have to pay out on, millions. Now, if they let the people keep their money, they could afford to feed their families and take care of their families. We wouldn't have to rely on the system. But the system's relying on us to rely on for the simple reason they control us then. They can control the money. They can control everything they want to do. And that's what drives me even more yet, to take my trash and my junk to do something with. This last week, I made an old-fashioned push plow that you use in the garden for working your garden up out of a 26-inch girl's bicycle. I just tore everything off, turned it upside down, changed the handlebars around, and put my plow attachment to it. Now I got myself a garden plow. And it didn't take nothing but just a few minutes to do this. I didn't have to spend $125 to go buy a new one.
There's so many directions we can go in this. The big thing is, once whatever happens, is that we're probably not going to have the water utility that we're used to. Then the next thing is going to be food. And then it's up to, making our shelter work for us. And unfortunately, most of the houses we have now are dependent on electricity to run air conditioning and heating systems. So I know we're getting ready to come up on a break here, but, whatever direction you want to take on that, let's start talking about some ideas that people can do to help their lives.
Cool, yeah. There's a lot of things you can do right now. For example, I tell people if they want to cut their electric bill down, for example, if you have an electric hot water heater, put a timer on that thing. Let's use it as a number and say we turn it off at 10 o'clock, turn it back on at 6 in the morning. It takes 20 minutes to heat 50 gallons of water. So why do we want to heat water while we're sleeping and spend our money? Or while we're gone on vacation, or while we're gone to work? Shut those things off during the day. You'll cut your electric bill by 50% by doing that alone.
Yeah. And the electric company doesn't even send you a thank you for keeping that on 24/7.
No, they don't. They just say we want more. And just things like that, the compact coils and light bulbs. If you don't need the air conditioner at 60 degrees, turn it up to 75. We keep ours around 75, 76. And the darker you keep your house while air conditioning running, the cooler it will stay longer.
This is John Regan with Bill Whaley. Be back after this break.
Hi, this is Larry Smith. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. When the cleaners ruined some special clothing, all they could do was show us a sign that said they weren't responsible. But when they got the letter from one of our Legal Shield attorneys, he promptly gave us a check for $1,152. Worry less and live more with lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com, or call 855-340-SAVE. That's 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
For health, and vitality for you, your family, and friends, get the Healthy Start Pack from Longevity, as recommended by registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
If you're a junk food junkie, getting on the Healthy Start Pack is one of the best ways to wean yourself off of processed snack foods and start putting good nutrition in your body. If you have a loved one who's dealing with heart disease or any health challenge, the Healthy Start Pack makes a great gift. If you have a grandparent or a parent in a nursing home, you will be amazed at the difference a once-a-day dose of the Healthy Start Pack will make in your loved one's energy levels, in their memory, in their mood, and in their general outlook on life.
Give the gift of optimal health to your loved ones and order the Healthy Start Pack from Longevity by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com. Order today.
More and more people are discovering the incredible benefits of alkalizing the body, and there's no better product for it than AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops. Packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds, just a few drops in water will rid your body of harmful waste and give you more vibrance and vigor than you've had in years. Now buy 2 bottles and get $10 off your order. Call 800-518-7615 or visit alkavision.com. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
This is John Regan at the controls today, and I want to thank John and at the GCN for being at the controls there. We have Bill Whaley with us today, and we were talking about water heating before the break. And let me just put you on the spot a little bit. What would you do, or what would your thought process be if you find out you don't have electricity anymore? How would you get a hot shower?
Well, for a hot shower, it's simple. You can go to your local Walmart, or if you don't have one already, one of those pump-up chemical spray bottles. All you have to do is clean it out if it's a used one. Wash it out with soap and water real good. Clean it out, then fill it full of water and put it out in the sun. It will. If you leave it there all day long, it will get 130 degrees. All you have to do is pump it up, rinse yourself down, suds yourself up, and rinse yourself off, and you got a hot shower anywhere. Or you can do it with a 1-gallon milk jug by punching holes in the cap, filling it full of water, sitting it out in the sun, let it heat it, and you've got a 1-gallon hot shower. You do not have to suffer like that.
And I've seen all kinds of setups where people have taken, different things like from cans to other materials, painting them black, and just like you say, the heat from the sun will heat that up. And in fact, you might have to be careful not to burn yourself.
That's true. The water will get 130 degrees, and usually you have to cool it down when you get ready to take a shower. You can get probably two showers out of it by the time you split it in half and cool it. But just doing something like that, we do not have to suffer just because we don't have the convenience of the big monopolies anymore. We have to start thinking of what God's already gave us all the basic stuff we need. We just got to learn how to use the basics. We have got away from that for so long. That's just one way of taking hot showers. If you want to heat water, I have a friend of mine in Branson. She don't use a whole lot of hot water, and she says she hates running a hot water heater. Well, I instructed her the other day. I said, you take 6 1-gallon glass jars, paint them black, fill them full of water, and sit them outside. If you need hot water to do your dish, go get a gallon of it, fill it back up, and put it back out. That way you've got at least 6 gallons of hot water all the time for free. The sun's been in that sky for millions of years. Why haven't we been using it? I don't understand that. God put it there for that.
Again, and you don't get those thank you notes from the utilities either.
John, you got to remember, you got to have three things to survive. That's food, water, and shelter. But if all the amenities are shut down, the electric, the water, and all that, the food, water, and shelter is great, but you got to be able to cook your food. You got to have fresh water. You got to have a way to preserve your food. Well, you can preserve your food, or not preserve, but cool your food down with an evaporation refrigeration. There's no electricity involved. The only thing that's involved in that is water, and build a box structure for that. For example, if our grid goes down, we can cook with solar, we can cook on a campfire, we can cook on a Coleman stove. For water, if you don't have water, get you a distiller, or build you a solar distiller, or you can build a water distiller out of a 2-liter bottle, Coke bottle. So you can distill water out of muddy water. You can even distill fresh water out of urine, just like the astronauts are doing, except we're letting Mother Nature and the sun do the work for us instead of $1 million pieces of equipment. You can build yourself a solar dehydrator. Now you can preserve your food. So regardless of what the system does, even though you got the food, water, and shelter, you still got all the amenities that you want too. And all that can be made out of junk, every bit of it.
No, refrigeration's kind of a short-term preservation. I know dehydration techniques and smoking techniques that let you preserve, meats for longer periods of time. Do you have anything along those lines?
Well, for example,
and we'll get into that after the break.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
Not available in California, Louisiana, and Virginia.
Listeners, do you have startup capital and want to invest in a booming business with incredible profit and growth potential? The opportunity is now because Fresh Healthy Vending, the #1 healthy vending franchise in North America, is looking for a few business-savvy, healthy-minded people right here in the local area to become Fresh Healthy Vending franchise owners. We're growing so fast that we've had hundreds of new franchise owners in the last few years alone. Now you can join them. This area has a huge demand for fresh, healthy, organic snacks on the go, and that's exactly what you'll be selling with your Fresh Healthy Vending machines. We've already identified prime high-traffic locations that are perfect for healthy vending machines. Now we just need the right people to join our franchise network and help Fresh Healthy Vending continue to boom. If this sounds like you, go to readyforfresh.com today and enter code 2121. We'll send you a free owner information kit. Plus, as an added bonus to new franchise owners, sign up today and receive 25% off franchise fees. Just go to readyforfresh.com and enter code 2121. That's readyforfresh.com, code 2121.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold. Call 1-800-686-2237 for the report the Fed hopes you'll never see. As Good as Gold can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. If you have ever thought about owning gold, you must read this report. Call Midas today at 800-686-2237.
This is John Regan sitting in for Vincent today. And if you're of the one of the kind that has a prayer list, you might just want to put Vincent on for the weekend. You know, besides the trip to North Carolina, he's having to travel through the remnants of Tropical Storm Bill, and it's causing some travel problems out there. And in fact, in Oklahoma, they have a major interstate closed on the northbound side because of a rock slide. And we just want to make sure that he gets there and back and have him back on the air Monday. Well, Bill, we were talking about ways of preserving food before the break. You want to continue?
Yeah. There's several ways to preserve food. You can salt cure meat. You can smoke it in the smokehouse. You can put it in the normal refrigerator. You can dehydrate it. You can sun dry it. You can put it into a spring house. If you live next to a river, a flowing river, you can put a chest-type freezer into the river, sink it, and use that for an ice box. There's just so many, of course, evaporation refrigeration is similar to a swamp cooler air conditioner. So those are just some of the ways. For example, eggs. If you take a fresh egg and you take and coat it with mineral oil, put it back in the egg carton, and put it someplace where it's cool, it will stay for over a year without refrigeration. They did that back in the 1800s, and they would keep eggs for 2 and 3 years. That's just one way. You can preserve crackers by putting them in a canning jar, put the seal on it, put the ring on it, and turn the oven on to 225 degrees and put the jar in until it seals it. That will keep those crackers fresh and crisp for at least 5 years. You can do water the same way. You can put water in your canning jars, process it like you're processing food. The water will stay clean, crisp, and fresh for 2 years. Those are just some of the ways you can do this stuff.
You know, you're talking about water there. Sooner or later, I think most of us have water filters because we don't want to drink the stuff that's coming straight out of the tap. But eventually you're going to run out of supply of water filters. What can we do to filter the water to get it into drinkable condition?
Actually, you can build your own water filter out of sand, plain old river sand, and charcoal. which comes out of your campfires. You can buy the activated charcoal, but you can filter the water that way. And to purify the water, after you run it through your filter, all you have to do is put it in a 2-liter bottle and make sure, if you see how clean it is, look to the bottom of the bottle and see if you can read any. Set it on a newspaper and read through it. If you can read the writing, it's filtered pretty good. Lay it on its side after you put the cap back on. Lay it on its side out in the sun for 6 hours. The UV will sterilize that water and make it potable. That's how simple you can get fresh water. Or you can filter it and then boil it. But you can build your own filters out of sand and charcoal.
Let's talk about heating and cooking. You know, there's some pretty nice wood stoves out there. And unfortunately for a lot of people, that's out of their price range. What can we do to come up with a way of cooking our food and also for having something to heat our living space in the wintertime?
Well, you can take a 55-gallon drum and a 16-inch truck inner tube and change the 55-gallon drum into a methane digester. Methane is nothing more than natural gas. Anything that will decay will produce methane gas. The sewage treatment plants have methane gas. The city dumps have methane gas from stuff decaying in the landfills and that. But you can make your own gas with a 55-gallon drum and a truck inner tube in which you could heat with it and you can cook with it. Or you can use a solar cooker made out of a cardboard box. Or you can heat your house with a solar panel made out of soda cans, glass, and scrap wood.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have to go back into the archives just to start writing down some of these ideas. Do you want to tell us about, I know you've got a newsletter and products to educate people. You want to tell us about that and how people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, we have a newsletter out. It's called the Junkman Chronicles. And you can get in touch with me by Bill Whaley, area code 618-795-8133. The newsletter comes out every other month, and each month has a different subject in it. And we've been suggesting to our readers to save the newsletter, put them in a 3-ring binder, and make your own reference book. The subscription is $20 for the year, and it comes out every other month. And you can get a hold of me by that telephone number, or if you just want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me by Bill Whaley, W-H-A-L-E-Y, 108 North Belleville Street, B-E-L-L-E-V as in Victor, I-L-L-E, Freeburg, F-R-E-E-B-U-R-G, Illinois, 62243. And of course, my phone number, I give it out, so if anybody calls and have a question on a project they're working on, or they need some help, or need whatever they need on to be self-sufficiency, that's what we're there for, to answer those questions. All I need from them is their name, address, telephone number, email address, and they can either send a money order or a $20 bill in the mail if they want, in the envelope there, and we will start your subscription for it. It comes out every other month. We're getting ready to come out with the July one, and we're talking on food on that one.
And if you didn't have a pen to write that down, you can go to usaprepares.com, click on the instructor tab, and you'll find Bill in the survival skills and training section. And his phone number is there. So, you know, it's like we talked about. People used to have these skills, and before we got this funny money with the Federal Reserve, there wasn't a lot of money out there, and people had to be inventive and frugal. You know, you repurpose things as best you could, And today they're trying to get back into recycling. I remember growing up, we had, glass milk jugs, glass Coke bottles, and they charged a deposit for those. So you'd bring them back to the store, get your deposit back. Today, all we've got is this disposable stuff. And, you just kind of wonder, what were we thinking? And we've kind of lost that, practicing that skill of, how can I reuse this? Do you have any suggestions on how we can work on that thinking process?
What I tell people in my seminars, John, is before you go to the hardware store, I used to have a joke I used to tell people. I says, before you start anything, go to my hardware store. And of course, everybody would say, well, where's your hardware store? I said, the Long Rangers. And they said, the Long Rangers. I said, out to the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump. That's where I go to my hardware store. So, before you go buy anything or spend any money, ask yourself, can I afford this? And if I can't afford it, how did they do this in the 1800s? They did everything simplified back then, and it worked. It might look crude, but it done the job. That's all we wanted to do is a job. I don't care what it looks like, and if I want it to look pretty, I'll throw a bucket of paint at it. But ask yourself that question, can I afford it? If I can't afford it, what can I do in its place, and where can I get the materials? All the materials are already here on Earth in a basic form. The wood comes from trees. Coal gives you heat. Rocks gives you cement. Limestone, learn how to change limestone into cement. I can take all your plastic from computer cases and water bottles and milk and convert it back to gasoline and diesel. But we don't do that for the simple reason that means we have to get off the couch, John. And like I used to tell everybody at the seminar, if you will stand up, your headache will go away because you're going to need your brain for this class.
Yeah, I know it's a challenge for me because you throw out all these ideas and I'm sitting here, I'm wanting to think about it. And unfortunately, I got to be the host today. So,
there's nothing. You can run your gas generators on sawdust and wood gasification. All you got to do is take a little time and study it, read up on it, and you can build these units to do this work. We don't have to worry about the gas companies. We can take methane gas, which we can produce from the outhouses or our septic tank, or the 55-gallon. We got alternative energy right this very minute. It's just we choose not to do it because that means I got to get off the couch, I got to invest in myself, I got to do some work. And we have been taught from day one, don't worry about it, the government will take care of you. Well, unfortunately, that don't work.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are getting short on time to get our acts together. And, one of the things that I brought up at the last expo is I've finally got a model to tell us about how much time we have left just by taking 3 items. One is our total income, which I based off of IRS tax stats. One is government spending, and the other is debt service. And I'll tell you about that when we get back from this break.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. Call 1-888-379-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-888-379-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-888-379-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out without your major credit or debit card. Call 1-888-379-MyTV. 1-888-379-MyTV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-888-379-MyTV. 1-888-379-MyTV.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
If you're worried about your health and you're tired of the nasty side effects of harsh drugs or antibiotics, then look no further. Supernatural Silver is the answer. Supernatural Silver is a powerful immune system enhancer that can be used every day to help keep you healthy and well with none of those nasty side effects. It's extremely safe for use internally as well as topically. And Supernatural Silver is hundreds of times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver. It is perfect for use in the sinuses, eyes, ears, and on any wound or skin issue. Supernatural Silver is also extremely effective when taken orally and can help fight off bacteria, viruses, and mold that may be overwhelming your immune system. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, supernaturalsilver.com, and use the promo code SILVER2015 for 30% off of your entire order. And give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
This is John Regan with our guest today, Bill the Junkman Whaley. I was talking before the break about our financial condition. Based on current growth rates, the combination of government spending at all levels, plus debt service on our $60 trillion of government, business, and personal debt exceed total income by 2020. We don't have a lot of time to get ready. You know, Bill, the Bible tells us, it's really a lamentation, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And that was specifically talking about God's law, but it also applies to our daily normal lives. And we become blind to it in the 21st century, whereas, our ancestors that lived in the, 18th and 19th century, that was just normal living. And, we need to get this knowledge now. We need to practice those skills. We have 2 or 3 minutes left. How do you want to close up?
John, number one, I want to thank you and the audience for listening for today. No time is right time to get started. Now is the time. It doesn't matter how old you are. I've got people 60 and 70 years old that is calling me and starting right now, getting self-sufficient. I've got people at 60 and 70 years old still cutting and hauling their own firewood to heat with. Folks, there's no time is the best time to get started except for right now. Because if you don't do something now, well, we can become earth keepers instead of earth breakers, because that's what we're doing. We're destroying this earth, and once this one's gone, our children have no chance.
And we're going to be hearing a lot about this coming up this year between the elections and also with what's going on worldwide. We even have the Pope pushing for a one world government to combat climate change. And what we really need to do is, just be good stewards like we're supposed to be and take care of our families and our neighbors.
That's true, John. There's only 2 things you have to remember you got to have: food and water. Now, if you got heirloom seeds and you know how to get water, you can survive.
But, again, it's one of those things. You need to practice those skills. It's like Marjorie Wildcraft says, if you're not already raising your own food, and you go to plant a garden, if you have anything less than 100% crop failure your first 3 years, you have a green thumb. And I think you're going to need something to eat before 3 years' time.
That is true. That is true. Preserved foods, canned food, buy food that you can get dehydrated stuff. That's good, but learn how to take care of yourself from the basics. God put the basics here on earth. Learn how to use these basics. You'll never be without if you know how to use them.
Yeah, and in today's society, we do eat too much animal protein. We don't need a whole lot, but, chickens are a good source. They're one of the easier things to learn how to raise. Man used to fish quite a bit. Unfortunately, we probably need to wait a little bit for some of the pollution to get out, because we've got fish in the streams of America that have too much mercury from coal electric plants, not the ones in America, the ones in China. So cutting off the coal to Americans just raises our electric rates. But we need to learn how to fish and, how to clean and fillet fish. And we need to learn how to raise chickens and learn how to slaughter and butcher. Just bunches of skills we need. Well, Bill, it's been a quick hour. I thank you for coming on, and I really do appreciate the work you do.
Thank you very much, and God bless you, and thank you for having me. And like I said, for your listeners, they can call that number and get in touch with me if they're interested in the newsletter. We will teach them everything they need to know how to get started for next to nothing or nothing, either way. But remember, you've already got it, but you've taken inventory of what you already own before you go spend any money.
Thanks again, and I'll be back after top of the hour break.
Now, a twice as nice Twin Kit special offer from Complete H2O Minerals for all GCN listeners. Get a Complete H2O Minerals Twin Kit with 33 different minerals, vitamins, and amino acids all in a liquid form. Enough for 2 people for 1 month. Regular price $89.95, but now Complete H2O Minerals is offering the Twin Kit for $69.95. And all GCN listeners receive a bonus 16-ounce bottle of Ionic Silver absolutely free with free shipping. A $120 total value. Hurry, limited time offer. Call 803-794-4767 or click CompleteH2OMinerals.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
We've been patiently waiting while you tried to ignore us, waiting while you acted like we didn't exist, waiting for our chance to be taken seriously. The wait is over. GCN is available 24/7 at GCNlive.com. Navigate through news from your favorite hosts and download archives of past shows. Download the app on your smartphone or tablet or visit GCNlive.com for instant access and live streaming. GCNlive.com, the future of talk radio, now at your fingertips.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
Welcome to hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. This is John Regan sitting in for Vincent today. Vincent is on his way to North Carolina for the RK Prepper Show. He's one of the keynote speakers there. That's at the WNC Agricultural Center in Fletcher. And he's talking about how you can save money on your taxes by starting the business of your choice, where you can take the same tax deductions the rich get to take. John Moore is also going to be speaking on violent climate change and how to prepare for it. We also have a meetup coming up Monday at Jimmy's Egg, Vincent's news update, and then building your solar power system part 2. Information on the meetup and the link to the RK Prepper Show is on page 1 of USAPrepares.com. I'm really excited today to have another wonderful instructor with us. Mat Stein is a graduate of MIT, majoring in mechanical engineering. He has a couple of great books, When Disaster Strikes and When Technology Fails. And I've been waiting a long time to say this. Welcome, Matt.
Well, thanks, John. I haven't heard that in a long time. I haven't been on the show, I think, since Vince's Prepper Expo last spring. Been a while.
And there's so much information going on now. I mean, it's like I told the story. I got to the expo about 10 minutes before that dinner Friday night, and I walk through the exhibition hall, and I get out to the lobby. And heading my way is Dr. Richard Allen Miller. And the next 5 minutes, he just made my next 2 months by telling me, we're getting ready for a mini ice age, and Texas is marginal. I mean, it's like,
yeah, well. It's always entertaining and illuminating to be hanging out with Dr. Ricky Miller. So yeah, he's a lot of fun. And Yeah, I'm not so sure about the Ice Age thing. He was like, it's coming. It's like, well, I don't know. I'm not jumping on that one yet. So we'll see. Yeah.
There is some precedent for it. We've got the example of the woolly mammoths in Siberia and the flash frozen flowers in the Andes. Whether or not that's in for this cycle, we don't know. But when you're preparing, there's some things you can do. You need to have where we are, tornado shelter, and you also need to have a place to store your your veggies for the winter. And if you just dig that a little deeper, you got a good part of what you need to prepare for what Rick was talking about. So,
well, I do believe we're in for a period of really crazy weather, where it's very unpredictable. I mean, people in Africa right now say that how they don't know when to plant their crops. They don't know when the dry season and when the wet season is going to be there. It's like the old norms are gone. They just don't exist anymore. So it makes it really hard when you could have, drenching rains in what used to be the dry season and total droughts in what used to be the wet season. How do you know when to plant your crops? And I do believe that we've messed up the systems of the world that keep our weather fairly normal, that everything's changing, so there is no normal anymore, and it's kind of all over the map. One of the things that's happening, like in the West Coast, there's this giant pool of warm water. And so the oceans of the world are like the thermal engine that drives the weather patterns, that drives the airflow around the planet. So you had things like in Alaska, it was 25 degrees warmer than normal last winter. And what it ended up doing, though, was the jet stream, the thermal engines that drive the jet stream are all changed now. So the jet stream went this crazy pattern where it took far north Canadian cold and then it swung down into the eastern part of the country. So the eastern part of the country is saying, well, there's no global warming because we froze our you-know-what's off all winter last winter, and we had a crazy winter with, tons of snow, like the good old days, only at the harsh end of that. But out here in the West Coast, it was the opposite. I live in the high Sierras of California at about 6,000 foot elevation. And we spent time on the beach in Lake Tahoe in January, February, March, and April. And normally in those months of the year, we're buried under the kind of snows you guys had last winter. And I'd have to, my wife would go crazy about in the cold and say, I got to get out of the snow, I got to get out of the cold. And we'd go down to the coast on some sunny days and catch some beach weather at sea level on coastal California. Well, that weather that we used to go to the coast for at sea level came to Tahoe last winter, and it's just like totally unpredictable. We finally got some snow in May. It's like in May we finally got some snowy weather. We got some pretty good rains and some high elevation snows in May, and that's the stuff we were wanting in January and in February and in March, and we got it in May. So yeah, go figure.
Since the rains hit here in Dallas a few weeks ago, I've been doing a bit on when I'm on Mondays. A tale of two droughts, where I show the drought information for California and Texas. And California, it looks like it's just sitting there, pretty much staying the same right now. But in Texas, with all this weather, we've gone from a pretty bad drought to now we've got I think down to 7% of the state in drought. And the worst of that is drought condition 1. And the total number of people it's now affecting is like 5,000, where it was like 25 million back in 2011.
Right. So your drought's gone away. That and you guys do you have too much rain? Are you having flooding? The news just kind of blows things out of proportion. What's the real story?
Well, of course, if you're along a river or a lake, it's bad news for you. There are farms here that have basically lost everything. The storm that just came through didn't do a lot of damage. The good news, it didn't happen right after we had all that rain. The lakes had gone down a little bit, but there's more flooding. The winds played havoc at a local marina here. We've had a rock slide close I-35 northbound to Oklahoma City.
A rock slide? You got big enough hills and mountains, you get rock slides there?
Yeah, the when you get especially north of Dallas into Oklahoma, it gets hilly, and the way they build the interstates, where they cut through the mountain to make the road more straight.
Right.
You've got the rocks, and with all that weather that went through there, they had a nice big rock slide close it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, out here we did get, there was a really unusually early hurricane off of Mexico, and the remnants of that blew up the Sierras, and so we got up at high elevation, and I think in Southern California even they got some pretty good rains. But like I say, it was May before we got some decent rains. I mean, normally in my house we get 2 to 4 feet storms deep of snow, like 6 to 15 times a winter. And the deepest, and so often, in the normal winter, you look out and everything's white and smooth, and there's a snowpack on the ground that's about 4 to 6 feet deep, and that's like 15 to 20 feet of snow that's compressed down to like you can pretty much walk on it and barely sink in. And the deepest we ever had at our house all winter long was like 12 inches, and most of the winter was brown. Looking outside my back door, I mean, it was brown, and so finally, I mean, thank God we got that hurricane, that bizarre early season hurricane down by Mexico. The remnants blew up, and we got some really great rains up in the mountains. So at least we're not so on edge right now that everything's going to burn up in the next month. I mean, it's decent. But of course, by the end of the summer, now we're in a stable, dry, every day sunny and 80 degrees and like 10% humidity. So I don't know what's going to happen by the end of the summer, but at least for now, that those late spring rains, took some of the edge off. But at least where I live, I think most of coastal California is still bone dry. They didn't get much out of those storms. So up here in the mountains, we got some pretty good rain. So I don't know. I live in earthquake and fire country, so I have to, with my go bag, I have to be ready for the event, for the possibility. I mean, naturally, like if I had my druthers, I've got a nice travel trailer with a 250 watt solar panel and an inverter, and so if I had my druthers, I'd druther load all my stuff in, and if I had to leave because of an approaching fire, I could get in my car and go, but I have to be ready for the possibility that, because I'm in fire and earthquake country, that if an earthquake happened in the summer and knocked the bridges down in both directions from me, and water heaters would fall over and fires would break out. If that were to happen during the dry season, then I'd have to be ready to put things in my back and go down to the river, because I wouldn't be able to get in my car and get away from the firestorm. I'd have to, because the bridges would be down, so I'd just have to go to the river. I wouldn't have much choice. So, it's one of those things. It's emergency preparedness, like car insurance. Nobody wants to get in a wreck just because they got insurance. I just assume that I never use it. I just assume it never happens. But, if that day comes, I got to be ready for it. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and if nothing else, I've shown with, the official government and Federal Reserve numbers that there's no way we can avoid a financial collapse, and that it's getting here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think just about everybody's worried about that one, me included.
We're already to the first break. This is John Ray with Mat Stein. We'll be back in a few minutes.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
A little over a year ago, I began to do a lot of research into why, even though I had a pretty good-sized meal, that I was still starving. And my research led me to a well-known fact that most of the soils that we grow our crops on here in the United States and across the industrialized world are almost completely depleted of almost all of the key minerals and trace elements that our bodies need to rebuild themselves, fight off cancer, and be healthy. I then searched out the best vitamin and mineral company out there and discovered Youngevity. The Youngevity products are designed to give you the real nutrition you need, and once you've got that, you don't have to eat as much to be satisfied. I've lost 37 pounds in 2 months, simply getting the vitamins and minerals I need. Check it out for yourself. It's incredible. Go to InfoWarsTeam.com today and order your first canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine Complete Multivitamin Mineral Complex Dietary Supplement. That's InfoWarsTeam.com.
Genesis is defined as an origin, creation, or the beginning. Genesis Communications Network began with the mission of providing you with the kind of compelling content you're listening to now. And at GCNlive.com, you'll find a free archive of our nation's history, narrated by GCN hosts, explored, shared, and passed down to future generations. GCN is the future of talk radio, but we should always strive to learn from our past. Together, we are GCNlive.com. GCN.
More and more people are discovering the incredible benefits of alkalizing the body, and there's no better product for it than AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops. Packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds, just a few drops in water will rid your body of harmful waste and give you more vibrance and vigor than you've had in years. Now buy 2 bottles and get $10 off your order. Call 800-518-7615 or visit alkavision.com. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com.
This is John Regan sitting in for Vincent today. We have Mat Stein with us, and I'm sure there's people in the classroom that haven't heard you before. So why don't we just take a moment and let you tell them about your books and how they can get them.
Okay. Well, my really big book, I have 2 main books. I got a little children's book too. We can mention that briefly, but my first book was When Technology Fails, and the subtitle describes it really well. It's called A Manual for Self-Reliance, Sustainability, and Surviving the Long Emergency. Now, my background is I have a Bachelor of Science from MIT. I grew up in Vermont. My parents loved the backcountry. You know, I was hunting and fishing from the time I was a little kid, backpacking, climbing, skiing, you know, winter camping, all that stuff. And people say, well, why would an MIT engineer write a book called When Technology Fails? I mean, I'm supposed to be one of those high-tech guys who's like totally into technology. Well, back in 1997, I at that point in time had a 20-year practice of mostly daily prayer and meditation, where I'd have quiet time, I'd pray and meditate, and sometimes I'd receive some guidance and, as an engineer, I'd be sometimes struggling on a design problem and not happy with what I could figure out with my head. So I'd sort of pray and ask for help and meditate, and pictures would sometimes patentable solutions would snap into my head. Well, in 1997, I made a generic request in my morning session, and I just said, ask for guidance and inspiration. Now, I've asked for guidance and inspiration lots of times, and I didn't hear much. But on this particular day, I had a bomb dropped in my lap. When I made that request for guidance and inspiration, suddenly dumped into my head, I received this pictorial vision, kind of a storyboard outline. You see examples of when a producer or director of a movie is trying to work out scenes from a segment of a movie. They'll have an artist sketch out the scenes in pictorial form, like little snapshots from the scenes, and that's how they work things out. It's called a storyboard. So what I got that day was a storyboard dumped into my head for this massive book project to help people live more sustainably, more self-reliantly, and to plan for and deal with a long-term collapse in central services. Now, realize this is back in Thanksgiving of 1997, and at that time, .com was booming. Business couldn't be better in America. Oil was at a 30-year low when you factored in inflation, and basically everything looked rosy. The second intifada had not happened in the Middle East. It looked like the Palestinians and Israelis were going to solve things. ISIS did not exist. Al-Qaeda did not exist. 9/11 hadn't been happened. And I get this semi-apocalyptic vision dropped into my head. Now, one of the things, my first thought was like, no effing way. I don't know all this stuff. I can't do this. And, I'm an engineer, not an author. And Jesus calls it the still small voice. The little voice in my head, the voice of Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, didn't identify itself specifically. It said, well, nobody knows it all. And it assured me that I had the skills and talents that if I chose to take the assignment on, and it always felt like my assignment, my task that was given to me, my giant cosmic homework assignment, and that I would get the inner and outer help I needed to finish it off. Now, I didn't just jump right up and say, well, God talked to me today, and I'm going to write this cool book to help the world through these coming difficult times. It took me about a year to decide that it was a good idea and maybe I could do it, and another year to do a bunch of research and write a proposal and find a publisher who gave me a modest advance. And then the third year, I just racked up the credit cards and bit the bullet and worked 70 hours a week. And I worked 12-hour days Monday through Saturday, and on Sunday I'd only work 6 hours. That was like my day off. It was only a 6-hour day on Sunday. And after 9 months of doing that, I mostly had it wrapped up, and then I had to finish off final edits and stuff and get it out. And then in 2008, I put another year into updating it. So that book, it's phone book size, and you can get it anywhere, Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And if your local bookstore, I always like giving the business to the local bookstore. So if they don't have it, they can order it, and it can be there in a couple of days. All the distributors carry it. So that's my big book. And we'll talk about the other one after your next break.
Okay, we'll be back in just a few minutes.
By now you know that usaprepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
This is John Regan sitting in for Vincent today. If all goes according to plan, I'll be back with Vincent on Monday morning, and we'll see how many of his buttons I can push. So, Matt, you were getting ready to tell us about your other book.
Okay. Well, first I'm just going to finish off a little on the other one. So when tech fails is kind of like, how do you live more self-reliantly today while the world's still working fairly well, when you can still go to Costco and you can still go down to Safeway and you can still put gasoline in the pumps? And then it covers everything from minor meltdowns to that day when the big machine grinds to a halt and nothing's working. And in that case, then it's how do you replicate the low-tech technologies of our ancestors? How do you, I'd much rather go back to the technologies of Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln days than fall back to, you know, caveman and eating bugs and worms and all of that. So that's it. So a lot of it is teaching kind of old-fashioned technologies. And then other people came to me and said, well, you know, this book is like way too big for my go bag. And they said, I'm just focused. I just want to know how to prepare. I'm worried about EMPs. I'm worried about solar storms. I'm worried about Fukushima. You know, what if there's a dirty bomb? All of that stuff. So I wrote When Disaster Strikes, which is basically a prepping manual. That it's a survival and a prepping guide all in one. So it's much more condensed than the giant manual When Technology Fails. It doesn't include like how to make a backyard foundry and melt down your engine block, or how to spin and how to weave and how to make butter and do all those old-fashioned things. It's just like, how do I get my prepping act together? And if this thing is coming down the pipeline, maybe there's been a solar storm, an intense solar storm, and the grid is going to be down for, 9 months to 5 years, and multiple nuclear power plants are going to melt down because they're going to run out of fuel in that time, and there's going to be no way to cool those power plants, and I'm downwind from nuclear power plants. What do I do? So When Disaster Strikes is, how do you prepare, and then how do you plan for it, and then and what are the survival strategies if one of these things happened? And it's got a built-in first aid guide. It's got a built-in alternative healing, brief manual, bigger one in When Technology Fails. It's got a built-in, primitive living and survival guide built into it. And that's in both, those items are in both books. But then very specific scenarios, like the EMP happened and nothing's working electronically. What can I expect? What's my strategy? What do I, it's like, if you use the book and you understand that EMP has happened or that solar storm has happened, then it lays out like, okay, this is what you can expect is going to happen, and this is what you have to do to survive this. And you're going to be way ahead of the average person because you're going to have a game plan and you're going to have knowledge, and other people will be running around like, I have no internet. I have no CNN. I don't have a weather channel. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And when's it going to get better? And is it going to fix? And it's been 2 weeks now, and there's no power, and there's no water, and there's no sewage, and I'm in a city of 1 million people, and where's 1 million people pee and poo when there's no sewage pumps happening and no water going on? And what are you going to drink? There's 1 million people defecating outside, and I got to drink those duck ponds now. I'm in trouble. So you and your, all these listeners here are going to be way ahead of the game plan because they're going to have skills, and they're going to have materials, and they're going to have knowledge, and they're going to have game plans. And the average person is just going to be clueless.
Yeah, and I try to make the point that, one, you need to have skills in raising your own food before this happens. And two, you're going to want to have some supplies that you can rely on and until you get that food supply going. You can't just put seeds in the ground and get a crop in 6 weeks.
No.
You can't hatch an egg and have chickens that are, big enough to eat or laying their own eggs in 6 weeks. But if that grid goes down, that supply chain stops. There's no food, and that's going to lead to mass starvation.
That's right. You get 3 days, and then if you can't protect yourself, then somebody's going to come and take what you got away from you. So it's not a fun scenario. But and a lot of people, there's sort of the lone wolf, heavily armed lone wolf guy, or there's safety in numbers. So I'm not saying not to be armed. I'm just saying that it's like when you've got numbers of people, you can watch each other's back. No one can be awake 24/7. So your strength really is in numbers, because you can pool together to protect yourself. You can pool together to watch each other's back. You can pool resources together and skills. No one person can know and do it all. So developing your network of people so that you've got a group, a community. The safety is in communities. Think medieval times. In medieval times, they had their castles, and they'd come in and you had a walled town, and that protected you from what was outside. And you're not going to be able to replicate that, but you can replicate that sense of community and that sense of protection and shared materials and shared skills, shared knowledge. And also, what I like to do too is I like to share a story from World War II that really illustrates a lot. A couple of different stories that really kind of illustrates what's important in a situation like this. So I had, my wife was Dutch Indonesian. Her mom was from Indonesia, and she met her husband, my wife's dad, in Indonesia during the Indonesian Revolution. He was a Dutch soldier who'd been sent by the Queen. So anyway, they had really close friends in the Bay Area where she mostly grew up after she immigrated there as a little girl, and they were Dutch Indonesian immigrants. And this one couple, Dee, was so joyful, and she'd come to America, and they had lived in, hill country in Indonesia, and they had a little farm during World War II when the Japanese occupied. And they came to this country with a small bag of jewels and gold. And they bought a house, and they got established in this country. And you could say, well, how does a poor farmer from Indonesia come by this bag of jewels? Well, during World War II, in the occupation, people were starving. There was no food unless you were tied into the government, had ration coupons. People were starving. So each one of those jewels was pried out of a necklace or a ring, and they were traded for a sack of rice or a bag of vegetables or yams. And so think about it like right now, sure, gold, jewels, silver, if you got the money, you can store them, great. A lot of us don't have that kind of money. If you think of skills and talents and simple supplies, that one sack of rice that you can buy for a few bucks at Costco today was worth a jewel, a diamond, or an emerald when people are hungry. So planning ahead, is really important. The value, suddenly, the value of hard stuff that you can survive with becomes tremendous in times of trouble. And another story I like to share is that, people tend to think, often when I give talks, I have people raise their hands and I say, how many of you had a really good day hunting on the last day of hunting season? And so far, I've asked that question to several thousand people, and I think I've had like 3 people raise their hands. One couple of women who got elks on the last day, and a guy. But out of several thousand people, like 3 people raised their hands. So think about a collapse scenario, and it's a heavily armed country, and a lot of us are counting on our guns and our fishing and hunting skills to carry us through in times of trouble. But the last day of hunting season, in a collapse, it's going to be like 100 times worse than the last day of hunting season. When the Soviet Union collapsed in like 1993, when Gorbachev said, hey, it's all over, we're shutting down, the pipeline to North Korea just dried up like that. Boom. There was no parts. There was no food coming in from Russia anymore. There was no oil coming in. And if you weren't part of the government in North Korea, you were SOL. You were out of luck. And that meant that whether you survived or not depended on your skills for scavenging. All the squirrels were eaten up. All the bunny rabbits were gone. All the rats were gone. The mice were gone. Everything. Bark was stripped off of trees. Grass was pulled up to eat the roots. If you weren't good at foraging, you didn't make it through the winter. You died. You starved. And so it's really important, to develop those skills too, because you may have to, everyone wants to shelter in place, and that's I do, you do. It's the natural thing. You want to stay in your home. You want to stay where you're comfortable. But if the truth of the matter is that there's an EMP and there's nuclear power plants melting down upstream, and you got to move, you got to get out of there, or you're going to die of radiation and a sick, horrible death, you're going to do it. And so your ability, when things are tough, your ability to go out into the countryside and forage may mean the difference between pulling through okay and not making it. And so one of the other things I've told, like another story I share that ties in with this foraging, is I was on the radio show quite a while back, and one of the guys who was on there with me has a school that teaches primitive living skills in Arizona. It might have been Cody Lundeen, but in those days I didn't know who Cody Lundeen was. It was before he was famous, so probably was him, but I can't guarantee that it was. And we were sharing stories, and he shared that when he teaches these primitive living and survival skills in his workshop in Arizona, that after they teach the skills for a week or so, then they split into groups and they go out in the wilderness. And the rules are no guns, no knives, no fish hooks. You know, you got to do everything the old-fashioned Native American way, you know, right from scratch. And he says typically they split in the men into two groups, and the men go out and they focus on the manly thing. They focus on the hunting and the fishing. And the women go and they focus on the foraging, edible fruits, nuts, berries, tubers, things like that. Well, he says almost invariably come day 3, the women take pity on the starving men and they share the stuff that they have foraged for. They foraged and found a bounty with what they've been taught. And it turns out that, you know, when you don't have your guns or you don't have your fish hooks, that hunting the old-fashioned way is pretty tough. It takes some real skill. And also, when everybody's out there hunting, it's like the game is scarce. The game that didn't get shot the first few days, they make themselves pretty invisible, and they're hard to get.
Yeah, and there's only one deer for every 10 people. That's not enough to last long.
Well, they're going to be gone pretty quick. They're going to be shot. You know, the easy ones would be gone in a hurry.
This is John Regan with Mat Stein. We'll be back after this break.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Honey, it's time for dinner. What are you doing over there on your computer?
I'm shopping for a new wallet. Mine is falling apart. Hey, did you know there's a company called ID Stronghold that makes shielded wallets to prevent electronic pickpocketing?
Oh, I didn't realize there was such a thing as electronic pickpocketing. What is that?
Well, apparently, many of the new credit and debit cards being issued have radio chips inside them called RFID that transmit our banking information to card readers when we pay. Unfortunately, a bad guy can also get one of these readers and go around the city scanning people, collecting their credit card numbers and personal information without us knowing it.
Wow, that sounds scary. Since you're getting a new wallet anyway, you should definitely get an ID Stronghold shielded wallet. Are they more expensive?
No. In fact, I can get a shielded leather wallet from IDStronghold.com for the same price or less than regular unshielded wallets from other stores.
Sounds great. My wallet isn't falling apart yet, but let me pick one out too. I want to be protected, and these wallets at IDStronghold.com look fantastic.
It's very easy to be a criminal. All you need to burglarize a home is one simple household tool, a pair of scissors. If your home security system can be compromised by a criminal using scissors, then you're making it easy for them. Almost every home security system, even those sold by big-name companies, has a weakness: the phone line. You shell out $1,500, get locked into a long-term contract, and think you're safe. But a burglar can destroy your alarm in seconds with one snip. And when a burglar cuts your phone line, you're defenseless. Simply Safe Home Security is the smarter choice. Built by Harvard engineers, Simply Safe uses a wireless connection to call the cops. Scissors can't cut it, and that means your home stays safe. 24/7 professional monitoring is under $15 a month with no contract. Simply Safe Home Security keeps you safer than the other guys for half the cost. Protect your home with the alarm you can trust. Simply Safe. Go to simplysafedefense.com now for an exclusive 10% offer. That's simplysafedefense.com.
Many are in disbelief today after word of shocking allegations against a Minnesota-based talk syndication company known as GCN. It's claimed that they're the fourth largest talk syndication company in the U.S., making it even more scandalous that they've been accused of helping business owners expose themselves on a massive scale. Let's go live to Tom for more on this story.
It's being called the greatest exposure of our lifetime, while other business owners are beginning to step forward claiming they too exposed themselves with the help of GCN.
It's true, they're all guilty, every last one of them. GCN helped me get the exposure my company needed, and just think, that was years ago. Today, GCN has like 700 affiliate stations and over 6 million downloads from iTunes and their website every month.
Imagine the exposure your company can get. Expose your business to the masses. Email advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective. GCN.
This is John Regan sitting in for Vincent with Mat Stein. And I'd like to play the Mission Impossible theme if I could, but your mission, Matt, should you decide to accept, tell us about EMPs and CMEs in the few minutes that we have left.
Okay. Well, an EMP is electromagnetic pulse, and that's typically attributed to when some country wants to really stick it to the United States. What they do, if they get their hands on a nuclear device and a missile to deliver it to high altitude, what they do is they'd blow it off somewhere, 5 to 150, 200 miles above the planet over the United States, and that would give off a pulse that would cripple most digital electronics within the zone. And so basically, there's a lot of misconception. People kind of think like everything is going to fail instantly. It's like, no, it's not. Your iPhone, it's probably going to work. A lot of your little radios and things that aren't plugged in, they're probably going to work. It's going to just fry all the important stuff that makes our world go around, like all of the digital electronics that controls our factories, our refineries, our nuclear power plants, our internet, our phone system, our water treatment plants. That stuff's going to fail. Basically, anything that's networked digital electronics, all those remote sensors and control and data acquisition systems that keeps all of our complicated stuff running, that's going to fail 100%. So what does that mean? That means instantaneous, like 15 minutes later, nuclear power plants melting down within the affected zone. Now, what's the chance of this happening? Oh, probably about 50-50. And that some, ISIS or Pakistan, Pakistan is, to me, the biggest worry and concern because they've got 125 nuclear devices, roughly. They've got the missiles to deliver them. They've got the technology, and they're infiltrated in the government and military by fundamentalist Islamic fanatics, pretty much to the highest levels of government and military. So the chances that someday somebody is going to manage to get one of those devices and get it thrown over the United States is pretty decent. Now, what's a solar storm? A solar storm is every now and then the sun kind of burps. This big mass of hot plasma blows out of the sun and goes off to space like really fast, like 100 times faster than our rockets fly. And now and then they come to the planet, and you read in the newspaper and you see cool pictures of northern lights like really lit up over, Canada and Alaska, or maybe as far south as Detroit or Vermont or Washington State. Now, every now and then, like once every 7,500 years, we get a really massive one of these storms that hits the planet directly. The last one happened in 1921, the Great Geomagnetic Storm. And in that storm, the sky got lit up, brilliant blood red, orange, gold streaks. Just phenomenal for hours. And it was days it was lit up that way, for 2 days. And it was lit up from the North Pole all the way to Hawaii and Puerto Rico, and from the South Pole all the way to American Samoa. So the entire planet was lit up at night except for a narrow sliver around the equator. And in 1859, just 60 years before that, we had the Carrington event, and it was lit up for an entire week. The whole planet was lit up. Now, what happened then? Well, it burned down some telegraph towers, and people woke up in the middle of the night thinking it was morning, and you know, there was an incredible light show, and this station, not in Penn Central, but a railroad station burned down outside of New York City because of induced currents. Not a big deal. But in those days, there was no grid. If that were to happen today, it would electrify the grid in such a way that it would blow these massive transformers out all over the country, all over the world, except for the deep tropical zones. And what does that mean? Well, in 2003, I think, 2003 or 6, there was a storm, and it blew out 14 in South Africa. The country had rolling blackouts for a year. We're talking blowing out 300 in the United States, 2,000 in the world, 20 years manufacturing capacity, grid down, nothing working, decades perhaps. The world would never be the same.
Well, Matt, we're out of time. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I hope I didn't ruin your day. And here's my motto is do your best to change the world and do your best to be ready for the changes in the world, because they are coming. And goodbye and God bless and have a great day.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Blockit Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
All loans subject to OnDeck score approval, must be in business at least 1 year to apply. Attention small business owners needing financing. Are you too busy running your business to deal with the slow lending process of your bank? Are you frustrated at the paperwork and delays just trying to get a decision? Then you need OnDeck, the A+ Better Business Bureau rated small business experts, where our simple application process takes as little as 10 minutes and funding could be available in just 1 business day. At OnDeck, we focus on your business operation and cash flow, not just your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with loans of up to $250,000. True business loans, not credit card advances. OnDeck provides financing to a wide variety of small businesses like restaurants, plumbing, landscaping, freight trucking, and healthcare providers. If you're frustrated with the paperwork and long decision times of traditional lenders, contact OnDeck. Funding could be available in just 1 business day. OnDeck is publicly listed on the New York Stock Exchange and has provided over $2 billion to small businesses like yours. So go to OnDeckLending.com today or call 800-293-6819. That's 800-293-6819.